Hello everyone, my name is Dr. S. Rajesh Kumar and I am an Assistant Professor of English at Government Aid College, Malkajgiri. Welcome to today's class on Braj Kachru's Three Circles of English. So this topic is from ELT and this video lesson is useful for MA English students, TGSET, APSET, UGC-NET and B.Ed students. English today occupies a unique place as a global language, serving as a key medium of international communication, science, and media. So it is the result of historical expansions, colonial legacies, and 21st century globalization. So British Empire spread through historical expansions and conquest between 16th to 20th centuries is the main reason of spread of English language in their colonies for education, trade, and communication purposes. So British occupied 3 by 4th of the countries in the world, and they established their colonies. They established colonies in those countries and implemented their language in those countries, and this is also one of the main reasons of the spread of the English language. And 21st century globalization, so in the world has become a village, and the advent of computers, advent of internet is also a reason, one of the reasons of uh, spread of English language in the world. And the English language now become an international language and a global language, and it is used for communication and used in education and trade purposes all over the world. To understand the spread and diversity of English language worldwide, two models are frequently cited. They are Braj Bihari Kachru's model, circles of English, and MacArthur's wheel of World Englishes. So let's see the first most influential model, Kachru's three cycles of English. And Kachru was an Indian American linguist. So he was well known for his work on World Englishes. He coined the term World Englishes and he introduced this term World Englishes. And he was born in 1932 in Srinagar, Kashmir, India. He went to America in 1963 and he was a professor of linguistics at the University of Illinois. His famous book, popular book, The Alchemy of English, and he introduced the influential three circles of English model. So this model emphasizes a pluralistic view of English as rather than single monolithic English. Kachru's three circles of English. So this model was proposed in the year 1985 and it consists of three circles. So they are three concentric circles. This is inner circle, this is outer circle, this is expanding circle. So we try to understand these three terms: ENL, English as a native language; ESL, English as a second language; EFL, English as foreign language. So let us go through these circles in detail. Kachru's concentric circles. What are concentric circles? Concentric circles are circles that share the same center point but have a different radii. So those are called concentric circles. Here we have three circles: inner circle, outer circle, and expanding circle. So they share the same center point. So before going into detail, let's try to understand these three terms: ENL, ESL, EFL, English as a native language, English as a second language, English as foreign language. So let us see first circle, inner circle. So this inner circle represents countries where English is the primary language. So here we see ENL, English as a native language, speaking countries we see in this circle. So it is used as a first language, L1. So the English is used as the first language, L1, by the majority of the population. For example, British and American, United States, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. So these countries we see in the inner circle. They are the native speakers of English. Characteristics. So characteristics of inner circle. Inner circle consists of countries like America, Britain, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So these countries are where English is primarily a native language or first language, or L1. So English is the native language for most speakers in these countries. So in these countries, English dominates all domains of life in education, in government, media, and used for daily communication. So these countries, America, Britain, New Zealand, Australia, are considered norm providing. So norm providing means these countries set standards for English usage. So these set standards. These countries use English as their primary means of communication. So the inner circle is seen as a traditional center of English. So where the English is originated and evolved. So English is originated and evolved from these countries. So the material, education material, grammar books, dictionaries, all these reflect inner circle varieties. For example, Oxford English Dictionary, Merriam-Webster Dictionary. So these all uh, take English from these countries because these countries are considered norm providing. They set standards. So these varieties are often perceived as standard globally. So the English from these countries are called standard English. Yeah. The next Kachru's concentric circle, outer circle. So this outer circle consists of countries where English is not the native language. So see non-native speakers in these countries. So it is a second language. English is often a second language in these countries. So majorly these countries are have a colonial history. They were ruled by British. So these countries develop their own varieties of English, often called new Englishes. For example, in this circle, we see countries like India, Nigeria, Singapore, Philippines, Kenya, Pakistan, South Africa. So these countries develop their own varieties, own variety of English. For example, in India, we call it as Indian English, African English, Singaporean English, Nigerian English. So they develop their own localized varieties of English. Outer circle consists of countries like India, Singapore, Malaysia, Nigeria, Africa, South Africa. So in these countries, they were colonized by British or America. So the colonization was the major reason for English in these countries. So after post-independence, they retained English for administrative purposes, legal and educational purposes. And English is often an official and co-official language in these countries, alongside local languages. So these countries are considered norm developing. Norm developing means they create their own norms. They create their own norms and standards for English. So that's why there are varieties of English we see in Indian English, Nigerian English, Singaporean English. So what's the role of these countries, outer circle in world Englishes? So in these countries, English serves as a link language. So remember, it's a link language in the countries of in the outer circle because they have many. These countries have their local languages, diverse linguistic groups within the country. For example, we see in India, we have so many regional languages: Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Bengali, Malayali, Marathi. So in India, English is English serves as a link language. Yeah. Third, concentric circle, expanding circle. So this circle, expanding circle, includes countries where English is primarily a foreign language, EFL. So the English is learned for international communication, trade, education, for technological purposes. So these countries are without colonial history of English imposition. For example, China, Japan, Brazil, Germany, Russia, South Korea, Egypt. So these countries we see in the expanding circle. So in these countries, English is not an official language, but it is taught in schools and used in global contexts like business, academia, and tourism. So these countries are considered norm dependent. Norm dependent means they rely on inner circle for standards. So they do not set standards and they rely on inner circle, British and American English for learning English and using English. So let's see a role in world Englishes of this expanding circle. So this expanding circle reflects global spread of English as lingua franca. Lingua franca. So this is used for cross-cultural communication and increasingly interconnected world. Yeah. Let's see summary of Kachru's three circles of English. In the inner, native speaker countries UK, USA, Australia. In outer circle, we see former colonies where English is official or second language. Example: India, Nigeria, South Africa, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and expanding a circle. So it has a global use as a foreign language. So inner circle, native language, ENL, outer circle as a second language, ESL, expanded circle as a foreign language, EFL. So inner circle is norm providing. It provides, it sets standards for English. Outer circle, norm developing. It creates their own variety and create their own standards. Expanding circle. So they follow, these countries follow, they are norm dependent because they follow inner circle. Let's see some multiple choice questions from previous year question papers of UGC Net English paper 2. Who among the following proposed the three circle model of world Englishes? So answer is Braj Bihari Kachru. And which model describes English global spread using inner, outer, and expanding circles? Kachru's three circle model. Which circle represents the countries where English is a primary language used as L1 first language by the majority of the population. So inner circle consists of the countries where English is primarily a native language. So English as a native language, ENL in inner circle.